house flipper, a businesswoman, a go-getter, a big investor, a gold builder that could teach you to get richer like millions, baby. You really about to fill your savings. You about to have multiple streams to pass your children, baby. Let me teach you to get your credit on track in the long run. You'll make it all back at Catalyst and watch it all psychological black on firm, but we get all black jokes.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Constance Carter. Today is President's Day. And guess what? We are suspending President's Day until we actually get a real one. Let everybody know President's Day is suspended until we get a real president in office, okay? So what's up, everybody? It's Money Monday. It's Money Monday, and it's your girl, Constance Carter. This is the Grow Your Money podcast, where I always try to talk to you about ways that we could grow our money and not blow our money, because if we blow our money, it ain't a damn thing funny. You heard me. So listen, today I want to talk to you about this whole idea of AI, because I just read the president of AI for Microsoft said that AI would be taking over most white-collar jobs in the next 18 months. Now, if you didn't read that, I need you to understand, and I need you to read it, because this is affecting us. We already know that every time America has a cold, Black people get the flu. And so I want to talk to you about this real quick. But real quick, while you're here, you know, I always love to shout my people out. So for all of y'all that are watching, I see you, Booker, watching from Fort Worth, and all the other people that are watching here today. So thank you. Go let your friends know to come on. Let's have a conversation, because this is a dialogue and not a monologue. What does that mean? That means I want you to talk back to me and talk Black to me. That means we're going to have an engaging conversation back and forth so that we can actually talk intelligently about this. But I want to ask you guys, do you guys know about the Great Replacement Theory? Does anybody know what the Great Replacement Theory is? These white nationalists have been talking about it. You know, they are deathly afraid of the browning of America. In fact, I did a video on that. You know what? I didn't have that, but let's talk about why they're afraid of us, because they're afraid of the browning of America, and all of this stuff relates. Let me find it real quick while I got y'all on here. But these white nationalists have been talking about it for a very long time. You know, the Great Replacement. Oh, they're going to replace us. And that's because we see within that community, it's a lot of mediocrity going on. And so the only reason why they're upset with a lot of the immigration that's happening is because they have a big fear. And the fear is of the browning of America, because in the next 30 years, America is going to be majority, quote unquote, minority. So what's happening is they are scared for their lives, but the way that the people in power keep us divided is by continuing to blame each other and not the people at the top. They don't give a damn about what's going on out here. All they want is their money and their power and their wealth, and they're keeping everybody, you know, all of us divided, you know, all the division going on, all the hatred going on between all the races. Here it is right here. And so wait, no, that wasn't it. And it keeps them distracted. It keeps them in office. It keeps them in power, because that's really all they want. They don't give a damn about poor white people, poor Black people. They don't give a damn. They love to keep the division so they can stay in power. And this is an age-old tactic that they've used since the inception of this country. You remember when white folks was working right along next to Black folks in the fields. Now, when you had the Irish indentured servants, they try to call themselves slaves, which, you know, there was a version of it, but they were not chattel slaves like Black people. But what the way that race was created, you know, because race is a social construct, was that you had the white people and the Black people working right next to each other. Eventually, the Irish enslaved people, they were indentured servants, which they got their freedom after a certain period of time. They didn't get sentenced to life after life after life that was passed down. However, the folks who are in power, they knew that these two races together can actually overpower us. So how do we get smart? Well, let's create division. Let's create the idea of whiteness, and let's put these Irish people. Let's make them the overseers over the black people, because we know that we could have them control the enslaved people. And they were, when the overseers came, they were even more brutal than the enslaver, because they were trying to get favor of the enslaver. And they were, so that was their assimilation to whiteness. That has grown over the years. It's continued. You think about now. Remember Lyndon B. Johnson? If you could take the lowest white man to convince him he's better than the best colored man, he won't know that you're picking his pockets. So the age old division, divide and conquer. Let's make sure that these poor people, or even these middle class people, let's make sure that we keep them divided so that we can stay in power. And so instead of us fighting the powers that be who are disenfranchising everybody, we're fighting each other. And so that's how they're staying in power. They're getting their votes because the majority of their constituents are white. And so all we got to do is just continue to create fear, continue to create division, so that they think the enemy is not us, the enemy is them. And all along, it's just a game. So one of the biggest fears is the browning of America. And let me just show you this video I did about it a couple of weeks ago. Their biggest fear, because I think that explains everything. White nationalism or white supremacy or white mediocrity, whatever you call it, it's not rooted in pride. It's rooted in terror. And the terror that one day they will be treated the way they treated everybody else. That fear comes from history, from memory, from knowing exactly what was done. Let's talk about their biggest fear, because I think that explains everything. White nationalism or white supremacy or white mediocrity, whatever you call it, it's not rooted in pride. It's rooted in terror. And the terror that one day they will be treated the way they treated everybody else. That fear comes from history, from memory, from knowing exactly what was done in the name of power, in the name of profit, and in the name of dominance. To understand this, we have to name the brutality honestly. And there's been so many instances, but I'm gonna name a few. Enslaved people were branded with hot irons like livestock. Fingers, ears, breasts, and genitals were cut off as punishment. Teeth were knocked out. Tongues were cut out for speaking their language or telling the truth. Iron masks with spikes inside were bolted on the faces so people could not speak, eat, or cry out. Some were locked in cages barely large enough to stand. Women were raped as policy, not in secret. Rape was used to breed more labor and destroy family bonds. Men were raped as well, often publicly to break their spirit and strip them of dignity. Husbands were forced to watch their wives violated. Parents were forced to watch their children beaten, sold, or killed. Pregnant women were whipped until they miscarried. Others were worked until labor began and sent back into the fields hours later. Babies were used as leverage. Crying children were silenced permanently. Some infants were thrown into rivers or fed to animals to terrorize entire communities. People were starved on purpose. They were worked to death on purpose. Bodies were hung from trees, dumped in rivers, left to rot as lessons. When one died, another replaced them without pause. None of this was hidden. It was law. It was religion. It was business. Churches prayed over plantations. Courts ruled that human beings were property. Scientists invented fake theories to justify savagery. Newspapers advertised people like furniture. This level of brutality required complete dehumanization. Empathy had to be erased for it to function. So when white nationalists talk about being replaced, oppressed, or erased, understand what you're hearing. You're hearing projection. They are imagining themselves on the receiving end of the world their ancestors built. They assume that if power ever shifted, we would do what they did. But history already answered that lie. Despite centuries of unimaginable terror, Black people didn't respond with genocide. We did not build systems to annihilate others. We built families. We built culture. We built resistance. We built joy. We built morality under conditions designed to destroy it. Black history is not a story of revenge. It's a story of restraint, resilience, and humanity. Their greatest fear is not loss of power. It's the truth being told. Now drop a Black fist in the comments. Yo, can y'all see me? Y'all can't see me. Hold on. There I am. I was trying to get back on. So that is the fear, because the browning of America is happening in the next 30 years. It's going to be majority, quote unquote, minority. And so there's this big fear. And of course, again, the powers that be, they're doing everything that they can to keep this nation as white as possible. You see what they're trying to do with women's reproductive rights. You had Margaret Sanger, who championed reproductive rights, right? And so now all these people are getting abortions. They have the lowest birth rates than they've ever had in the history of this country. White people aren't having babies. So they're trying to figure out what they can do to keep their power, because they want to keep their power. So there's this idea of the great replacement theory. I don't know if you know what the great replacement theory is, but let me just share with you really quick. Oh, I didn't upload it. Let me just share with you the great replacement theory. There it is. So the great replacement theory is a theory that the far right white nationalist conspiracy theory, at its core, it's claimed that there is a deliberate orchestrated plot to replace white population with non-whites. So there's this great replacement theory that they have going on, thinking that they're going to be replaced. And here's the thing. Yes, they are going to be replaced, but it's not the replacement that they think. Let me share something with you really quick. Oh, where is it? Check this out here. Microsoft's AI boss said that AI can replace every white collar job in the next 18 months. We're going to have a human level performance on most. 18 months, white collar jobs can replace all white collar jobs. In the next 18 months, AI can replace all white collar jobs. Y'all worried about the wrong damn people replacing y'all. Y'all need to be worried about these AI jobs replacing your jobs. These AI replacing your jobs. Y'all worried about the wrong thing. Here's the thing. There have been so much in terms of regulation. Now, of course, we know that corporations have always bought their ways to in politics. With lobbying. There has been more donations to this Trump administration than there has been in the history of this country. All these corporations have been donating to Donald Trump. This all ties together, y'all. Let me share this video I did over the weekend. $1 billion has flowed to the administration through 3 primary channels. The inaugural committee. Since the 2024 election, nearly $1 billion has flowed to the administration through 3 primary channels: the inaugural committee, the MAGA Inc. Super PAC, and a private White House ballroom fund. That level of post-election fundraising is historically unprecedented. We have never seen money move this fast, this concentrated, or this openly after an election victory. So let me be clear. The White House is for sale. America is for sale. Because when corporations can write $1 million and $10 million checks, they don't just get a thank you. They get access, proximity, influence, and policy consideration. They get the meetings, they get the carve-outs, they get the regulatory relief, they get tax advantages, and everyday people, we get the bill. We get higher taxes, we get fewer services, we get layoffs called efficiency, we get unemployment, we get cuts to education, to healthcare, to housing, and worker protections. This ain't speculation. This is how power has always worked when money becomes louder than votes. So let's talk about who paid. Amazon gave $1 million cash plus $1 million in in-kind support. Meta gave $1 million. Apple through Tim Cook personally gave $1 million. Microsoft gave $1 million. Google gave $1 million. And YouTube was tied to $22 million connected to the White House Ballroom Fund. NVIDIA gave $1 million. JP Morgan Chase gave $1 million. Goldman Sachs gave $1 million. Bank of America gave $1 million. Chevron gave $2 million. Exxon gave $1 million. Boeing gave $1 million. General Motors gave $1 million. Pfizer gave $1 million. Johnson & Johnson gave $1 million. Uber gave $1 million, with an additional $1 million personally from its CEO. Target gave $1 million. McDonald's gave $1 million. Delta Airlines gave $1 million. FedEx gave $1 million. Crypto.com through Forrest Dax gave $30 million. Energy Transfer and Kelsey Warren $25 million. Greg and Anna Brockman of OpenAI gave $25 million. Jeffrey Yass $16 million. Lockheed Martin $11 million. Elon Musk $5 million. Pilgrim's Pride, Ripple Labs, Blockchain gave $5 million. And the return on that investment looks like this.
lighter regulation, favorable tax treatments, faster approvals, government contracts, and policies shaped with corporate interests front and center. So when people ask why their taxes go up, why their jobs disappear, why services shrink, and why help never seems to reach their communities, this is part of the answer. When access is sold to the highest bidder, everybody else is forced to wait outside. This ain't politics, this is a paywall. If you can afford $1 million check, you can afford influence. And the question isn't whether or not the system works. The question is, who does it work for? Now drop a black fist in the comments and share this with someone who needs to hear this.
It all ties together. So the way deregulation has happened since the administration. So let me just share something with you, okay? So executives from OpenAI and Perplexity AI were among the largest 2025 donors. They received, I think they gave 25 million. And what they got is they got a fast track and priority for AI. They got deregulation for AI. It shielded these companies from more restrictive laws. So they're able just to put AI out there without oversight. And now this is what's taking your jobs. This is what's taking a lot of these white collar jobs. And this is the AI is the great replacement. So we already know that AI is being used for so many things. I mean, I use AI all the time, and it's been great. And if you're not using AI, you better get on it. I was talking to somebody a couple of weeks ago, and they were like, I don't want to be on Chat GPT. I don't want to be on AI because I don't want them knowing my business. You already in the matrix. Let me tell you something. If you are trying to avoid being on AI or Chat GPT or Gemini or any of these other AI platforms, you're already using AI in every aspect of your life. You're using it with your Siri, with your phone. You're using it when you go to the grocery store. You're using it with your GPS. Everything is AI powered. And if you're saying, I don't want to use Chat GPT when it could actually help you, or Gemini or any of the other sources when it could actually help you, you already in the matrix, homeboy. You cannot avoid being inside the matrix. They already know what you're doing. They already know. We're all under surveillance. We're all in the matrix. Unless you can somehow get off the grid, we are all under surveillance. Okay, so the best thing we could do is we need to take advantage because we're using it in our everyday lives. I have a book, how to write your living trust using Chat GPT. I use it in every aspect. If you guys don't got this book, y'all need to be getting my book to get your living trust. Okay, I use Chat GPT in so many things, but you can use Chat GPT to create your living trust. Okay. So listen, we use it in every aspect in our lives. This is how they're already using it in corporate environments to draft contracts. So a lot of even attorneys now, you don't want to use AI as legal advice, but you can certainly use it for a lot in the legal realm, right? We've used AI to draft legal documents. I use AI to draft marketing campaigns. In fact, for this live right now, I have AI drafting the description to what I'm going to talk about. Hey, this is what I'm going to talk about. Put a description in there for me. I throw it in inside StreamYard and bada bing, bada boom. Okay. A lot of people use AI for marketing, to build code. They're already using it. They're using it to automate customer service. We know this when we go to our checkouts, right? To produce financial analysis. Managing your schedules. I use it to manage my schedules, to create reports. This ain't theory. Large companies are integrating AI every single day in their workflow right now. And when you automate tasks, you reduce labor. Here's the thing though. What's going to happen to all the people who lose their jobs? Who's going to be spending money? All these white collar jobs, there's a great replacement that's getting ready to happen. In 18 months, all these jobs that are getting ready to go, they said 100,000 jobs, we're going to lose 100,000 jobs. Where are these people going to work? And then who's going to buy the products? Like what's going to happen? You're going to see a big gap in the ultra rich and the ultra poor. So now we're going to see junior analysts get hit. A lot of administrative roles get hit. Paralegal roles get hit. Entry-level coders, marketing assistants, customer service teams. a lot of those jobs are going to be replaced. And if a lot of stay-at-home jobs too, a lot of these things, what we know that AI is not replacing are the trades, our construction, our electrician, are your plumbers, things like that. So with all of these political donations, they've gotten tax policies, they've gotten deregulation, they've been able to avoid antitrust, they've gotten government contracts. Give me $1 million, give me $5 million, I'm gonna put you in the front of the line for government contracts. They've been able to get labor policy as well. When they invest, they get the influence, they get access, they get proximity, they get all of that. So the great thing about AI is it increases your productivity. And for you as a business owner, we have to adopt the same thing. The first people who benefits are the shareholders, the executives, the owners. So where does it hit the most? The employees, right? So the thing about it is we have to switch from being the employee to the employer. And I realize that everybody is not meant to be an employee. The great replacement idea is rooted in a nationalist ideology, but the great replacement is really what AI is. It's the algorithms are going to be replacing cognitive labor. It's not about your race. It's not about demographics. It's about what's getting ready to happen with technology. And if we are not on it, we are going to be left behind. So for those of you who say, oh, I don't want to use AI, I don't want no parts of it, you better get on it. You better utilize it, because if you're not, you're going to be left behind. And while jobs are being pressed out or pushed out, what should we be doing? We gotta learn AI, but we gotta become investors and rather than consumers. We got to build additional revenue streams. The Bible says that we should have 7 or 8 revenue streams in case a disaster strikes. And so we're sounding the alarm. This didn't come from me. This came from the CEO of Microsoft. He said AI is going to be replacing a lot of jobs. We know at least 100,000 jobs are going to be replaced with AI. It's coming. So if you don't have multiple revenue streams, you're going to be stuck holding the bag. You can do this starting your own business. You can get yourself a digital product. Here's the thing. Here's one thing that I think is really smart that Boyce always says. You should be selling something. Even if it's not making you a lot of money, there is something that you have right here. You have an intellectual value that somebody will pay you handsomely for. You have no idea. You don't even know that people will pay you for it. Sometimes people may ask you certain things all the time. You have a level of knowledge that other people don't. You have insights that other people don't. And you just sitting on that talent and that skill. Or maybe you've always wanted to start a business and you were just too afraid to. There is a need, especially within our community, for more Black-owned businesses. We are not starting businesses at the rate that other people are. If you've ever heard me talk, you know I always say that the reason, we have $2 trillion in spending power. Only 2% is spent in Black communities. The reason isn't because we're self-hating people. The reason is because we don't have enough business to spend with. When you go to a Black community, you're going to see everybody else except for Black businesses in our community. You see very little, less than 2% of Black businesses are in Black communities. But if you go to any other community, you're not going to see Black businesses. You're going to see them in their communities, and you're going to see them in our communities. So we have to start taking over, and then we have to be very intentional about doing business with each other. So y'all, we got to start more Black-owned businesses. If you go and you see I talked about it last week. If you see a need, it may not just be a passion, because I believe, I thank God I've been able to do something that I'm passionate about. I'm really passionate about helping people build wealth. I'm a real estate broker. I help help people develop their wealth plan and their wealth strategy. I love that. Oh, by the way, I have a coaching program where I help you, look at your credit and I give you a plan, and I help you create your wealth strategy, your next 3 to 5 year wealth strategy. But I love doing that stuff. I love helping people in real estate. I love helping people to create wealth. I'm doing that. That's a passion of mine. I'm happy that I'm able to create a living doing that. But you may start a business that may not be your passion. It just may be a need. And so there are so many needs in our communities. There are so many people who are pillaging our communities doing different things. Why don't you replace those businesses? Take a risk and bet on yourself and start something. But it's necessary because I'm trying to tell you, we're being pushed out. And you know, every time America gets the cold, Black folks get the flu. 300,000 Black women have already lost their jobs. Unemployment is up for Black people. So what do you think is going to happen when more people lose their jobs? We are going to be the first on the chopping block. And I don't want to sound pessimistic. I want to be a realist. So we got to be prepared. Have 7 or 8 revenue streams, because we never know when a disaster is going to strike. 2020, that was COVID. It could be death. It could be layoff. 300,000 Black women were laid off. Unemployment is high. We got to have multiple revenue streams because a disaster has stricken the land. A disaster is the president of the United States. A disaster is happening right now in America, and we got to be insulated. And the only way we can be insulated is if we're self-sufficient and we're independent and we're not depending or relying on an employer. And again, I know that everybody is not meant to be a business owner. I understand that. But if you can't own a business, create additional revenue streams. Start investing in other things like real estate, like stock. We know that real estate is cyclical. It goes up and goes down. But as these companies are making more money, guess what also happens? Their stock makes more money. Because as the stock make they're cutting their bottom lines, they're increasing revenue to the shareholders. Become a shareholder in some of these companies. Start buying stock. You don't know what stock to buy? Information is out there. AI will tell you the information. This is how much money I got. What's the best stock that I should buy right now based upon what I have right now? But we have to diversify our portfolio. That's one of the problems in our community. And the reason why the wealth gap is so wide is because when we do invest, we'll invest in real estate. Only 44% of us are homeowners, but 44% is great considering we were just able to buy homes 50, 60 years ago, and they've been buying homes for the last 400 years. So that's good. So, but we have to start diversifying. We got to get into something else. We got to start investing in stock. Invest in things that generate compound interest. Einstein said compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. Those who know about it earn from it. Those who don't, they pay it. So get in position where you can make money on your money and compound it, just like they do. You having your money in the bank, you're getting 0.23% interest in your money in the bank. It's nothing. You put $10,000 in there, you may make $100 in 10 years. But if you put that same $10,000 in a vehicle that generates compound interest, that could actually be $1,000 or $2,000. There's a huge difference. The bank takes your money and they invest your money in other vehicles that generate compound interest to them. They lend your money out. They're making money on your money and they're giving you less than 1% return on your investment. So take your money out the bank. If you have a savings in a bank, even high yield savings aren't even that great. 3%, it's nothing. Put it in something else. S&P 500, put it in stock, put it in other things that's going to generate more revenue. Again, as we see the revenues go up for these corporations, we're also going to see stock go up. And the folks who are the shareholders, they're going to get the benefit. Okay. We also have to prepare. So we got to reduce our unnecessary debt. We got to get in position. Okay. Because you need to be flexible when these things happen. I use Rocket Money. Somebody told me about something Mint. No, it was something else. It was somebody told me about, but I use Rocket Money. Go on Rocket Money. I was just on there this morning. Rocket Money was like, you got $300 in subscriptions that you probably don't need, 300 per year or something like that. And I was like, you know what? Remove all these, delete these subscriptions. Because I'm paying for stuff that I'm not even using. I didn't even know I was using some of the subscriptions on here. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't even know I had, which one did I have? But it gives you a snapshot of all of your income, all the money you're paying out, all your debt, your subscriptions, ways that you can cut the fat. Get on there and start removing the fat and start doing things to reduce your outgoing expenses. Make yourself some coffee at home. Don't go to Starbucks. You might want to delete your cable because a lot of us aren't even using cable and Netflix. You might want to get one of these streaming services. Folks ain't even watching TV no more, but we're paying for things that we don't even need. But what we got to get in position where we're not so strapped, and that extra money that you're saving, in things that you are investing in. So that money you're saving, make sure you're investing. Don't just save it in the bank because the bank ain't giving you no money. Put it in Acorns. I love Acorns. I swear by Acorns. Acorns takes your change and it invests in ETFs for you. Put it in the stock. But whatever you do, make your money work for you. Cut the fat. And you got to build up your cash flow because cash will buy you time and opportunity. This 12 to 18 month acceleration window is a real thing. This is not anything fake. It's time for you to prepare now. The great replacement theory is not the great replacement, I'll say, is not just happening to white folks for minorities coming and taking your jobs. The great replacement is what's happening with AI taking over. But what are you going to do? Are you going to be a victim? Are you going to be able to take advantage of it? Come investors and not borrowers. Be the lender. Become business owners. Invest in real estate. Cut the fat. Invest your money. We got to get in position so that we will be insulated when this stuff happens. And Black folks, if you see Black folks, we have to start practicing collective economics. So pull your funds together. I talked about that last week too. Pull your funds together. Multi-generational living. You may want to start consolidating your kinfolk and living in the same house so that you can save some money. I'm from San Jose. When I was growing up, Vietnamese people, it was 20, 30 deep in these houses. Guess what? They own all of San Jose now. You go down there, they have every plaza. They own everything because they understood the benefit of multi-generational living and they were able to help each other. And even if you can't do that, perhaps you invest with your family, you put your money together with your family and you make some investments together, because that is also a great thing because it's extremely hard to invest by yourself. Sometimes if you don't have the liquid, right? But if you have other people that you can invest with and you can get on the same page, hey, why don't you and I come together? We create a joint venture partnership. We invest together. That might be something that you can do. But we have to start thinking outside the box. And we got to stop thinking this rugged, Eurocentric, individualistic idea that we've grown up with. That's how they think. And Black folks were communal by nature. So we have to start working together. Collective economics is the key. It's the thing that's going to help us. So, East Side San Jose behind Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah, you from the East Side for sure. But I just wanted to tell you about that, y'all. Money market accounts, some can be good. Just look at what the interest rates are on these accounts, okay? I like I said, the S&P 500, when you're putting your money in investments, make sure that you're putting them in make sure you're looking at it as a long-term strategy. My son was able to start investing in Cash App, right? Because Cash App now has where you can invest. He got a Cash App and he's like, he put like $10 in and then like the next day he had like $9.86. He's like, Mom, I'm losing money. I'm like, son, you got to let it ride for a minute. But that's how a lot of people think when they're investing. Investing is a long term. Imagine if you would have invested in Google 10 years ago, you'd be a millionaire, right? A lot of people just don't have the appetite or the patience for this long-term investing. I like permanent life insurance policies where you're getting compound interest and it's not predicated on the stock market. So whether the market goes up or down, you still keep your money. And if you borrow from yourself, you're still collecting compound interest on that money. So let me go to my comments because I'm seeing a lot of comments on here. Somebody said, wait, let me go back. It's still about losing power because they know the truth. White fragility, what'd you say? They are frantic and their daughters want brown babies. Oh my God. That's true. They playing with the income. I guess I'm gonna have to join the MLM. That might be it. Something that's gonna get you another revenue stream. What's crack-a-lackin' Big Mac? They were saying AI has access to Gmail. Interesting. The phone is what's causing all this. Just think about it. When we had regular cell phones, none of this was going on. He said he blamed the cell phone. AI don't have a heart, so it don't have a connection. People buy from each other or sales. All right. People buy convenience, sir. I hate, ooh, Jill Scott's Tiny Desk is on. I'm gonna get off here so I can go watch Jill Scott's Tiny Desk. So a group needs to create its own funnel that loops money down. We're being replaced, right? But I believe there's a mental aspect that nobody's talking about. I'd like to hear about that. What's the mental aspect? My job has been moved overseas. Oh, okay. So I just did a series called Receipts, and I talked about. Oh, hold on. Let me show you real quick. Go to my YouTube channel. Watch this. Now, I call them receipts because this is all about facts over fiction, history over lies. And the reason why this series exists is because there's been too many stories about race and about power that are built on denial instead of documentation. So we are going to examine systems. We are going to trace timelines. We're going to follow the money, and we're going to tell the truth, even when it makes people feel uncomfortable. So let's get into it. Today, we're going to talk about why crime has declined in a lot of major cities, but nobody's talking about it. The reason why I brought that up, and thank you for saying that, because that's part of what happened. So I'm talking on this episode of Receipts, because I try to give you receipts. I try to, give you the historical aspect of things that happened because I love history. But on this episode of Receipts, I'm talking about how crime's gone down. But the reason why crime went up in the first place was because of a lot of the jobs were pushed overseas. And so the same thing, when you have AI taking over a lot of the jobs, when they're going overseas, or when jobs are lost, you're going to see more poverty. You're going to see more crime. And it's not going to just happen in a concentrated area of Black people like it's happened in the past. It's going to be widespread across racial barriers. So it's not just going to be a Black problem. It's going to be a rich versus poor problem. But poor white folks they want their assimilation with white so bad that they are blaming everybody else. We're going to blame the immigrants because they're picking grapes. They're doing the jobs that we don't want to do. We're blaming them. We're going to push them out. And now our harvests aren't being picked. And now the jobs that they did are no longer being serviced. Right? But it's all a part of this mental illness that I call white supremacy. But I believe all this stuff is connected. Let's see. I'm sure the impact in our community will be profound, but that's the reason why we got to be prepared. It'll be profound, but be prepared. Coach Barry said, it's so bad in California. I don't see any Black at work when I go out and about. Where do you work? Other nations got jobs. Black need to learn sales and customer service. Being dependent on AI is an answer. I think they're going to use AI not to only replace us, but manipulate us even more than they already do. Interesting. The jobs hire each other, buying from, and the company private, no stock. I don't know what you're talking about. Let me see. Yes, like, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you are subscribing to and follow me everywhere at I Am Constance Carter, but subscribe to my YouTube, please. King Pete said, I have Acorns and it's doing really good, pretty good. And Acorns is always like, I just bought my son a car. Money he had in Acorns. I ain't have to touch none of my money. They're not helping us out here. I'm homeless. I'm sorry. They don't want us to have nothing, but you got to take it, brother. You got to take it because there's still opportunities out here. Listen, we have more power in the palm of our hands with our cell phones than they had when they put them out on the moon. So there are still opportunities out there. It's just a matter of us creating our own. Use AI to help you to create your own. Have it help you put a strategic plan together so that you can get out your situation. A separation of rich and poor, and elimination of the middle class, and a transfer of wealth. It's not even about race. It's about green. It ain't about black and white. Yep. I appreciate you. Thank you. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. They building millions of apartments out here. Where are you at, Carlos? East Side. I'm sorry. What if your family are feeling more comfortable investing in other groups? That's where conversation has to happen. I was talking to someone the other day, and I'm really blessed because my family has always supported me in my businesses. And they say a lot of times people say it be your family that be the biggest haters or the ones who don't support you. And my family is always like, they come to me. They've always come to me from the very beginning. They've come to me. And I've never had an issue where my family didn't support me. And I do realize that other people's families don't support you, but you have to have conversations. I think as you're learning this stuff, you need to just start talking to people. Right. The reason I think my family trust me is because we have conversations. I'm talking to them about certain things. And so they're like, okay, she knows a little something. And then they're seeing how I'm moving. Right. They're seeing the investments that I'm making. So they want to work with me. So I think you just have to start having these critical conversations with them. Change the conversations and what we talk about to our family. You know, we can't just keep having the conversations about nothing, about bullshit. We got to have real conversations about real shit that's happening because everybody needs to be prepared. But we just got to change our mindset in our conversations, I think, in what we say to our families. We won't hire one another. I don't know where you at, but I've always, and I'm a business owner. I own a real estate company and I own a marijuana dispensary, and I always hire Black people. So I don't know those people who don't hire Black people because I ain't one of them people that don't hire Black people, but I know plenty of Black people who do hire Black people. So I think we need to change the conversation there as well. And I think we need to change the narrative about what we don't do, and we need to start focusing on what we do. We've adopted those white supremacist talking points about who we ain't. And I want to talk about who we are and what we are doing. And I believe that we are working together. And I believe that we can practice collective economics. I believe we can do better. We just have to be willing to trust each other. It's the reason why I work with Black women, because my passion, I did a TED talk back in 2020, and it's called Google That Shit. And if you ain't seen it, you need to go see it. It's a good TED talk. But I talk about closing the wealth gap. And I believe that we can do it. And I gave 4 ways that we can close it, the 4 investments that we can use to close the wealth gap. But my way of closing, my contribution to closing the wealth gap is through Black women. And that's the reason why I coach Black women from all over the country. It's called Net 7 Collective. And it's where we get together, I get together and I teach them different tools, different strategies on how they can increase their net worth to over 7 figures. And as a result, these ladies are killing it out there. They increased their net worth. They have expanded their businesses, scaled their businesses. They've got new jobs. They've added other arms to their business. They're investing. They're doing all of these different things. But again, you have to have the conversation, because I believe that Black people do work with each other. I believe that Black people do practice collective economics, and we got to stop talking about what we don't do, start talking about what we do. Okay. And oh, by the way, if you're interested in joining the Net 7 Collective and this group of gorgeous, beautiful women that I coach from all over the world now, go to net7collective.com. Let me see if it's on here. Go to net7collective.com or go to my website. Go to constancecarter.com, and all of my information. Let me see. All of my information of all the things that I do is on my website. Where's constancecarter.com? Damn. I'm looking for all my little things. Oh, there we go. Go to constancecarter.com. Go to constancecarter.com. Everything, all of my services and all of my offerings, I just updated my website last week. So all of my offerings are on the same website and not in different places. So go to my website so you can see. But anyway, let me see. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go through all of these. Black-owned businesses, why Black needs customer service training. You ain't lying about that. Yo, I went from California, now I live in a Black community, and I was just complaining about that last week. I'm like, I love to see it. I love to see all these Black businesses. Customer service got to be, man. Anyway, you're in real estate. Okay. Oh, I'm sure the impact on our community will be profound. They'll say, oh, I thought we already went over there. Damn. I already went. Okay. Somebody said, gotta go now. I agree. Rocket Money works. What's an MLM? Multi-level marketing. It's a way to start a business where you're selling somebody else's product or services And you're helping other people to get in the business, so you're making money that way. I'm about to go see Jill Scott. They thought we was gonna pick the veggies. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember when Trump said that he thought the blacks was gonna pick the and then he said that this man, you can't tell me this man was elected. You can't tell me. I know, y'all. I know it's a whole lot of ignorant ass people in America. I know it's a lot of people who have the reading comprehension of a second grader. I know it, but you can't tell me a good majority of Americans voted for this dipshit, because this man he can't even carry an intelligent conversation. And everybody's always talking about, oh, he's a great business. No, he's not. He inherited money from his father. He bankrupted several companies. He shorted people out of paying them. Like, he is not, he has money. He has access. That's what he has. So anyway, he thought the black people was going to be picking the veggies. And he said that he was going to bring the Mexicans back because they were born to do it. I remember he said that. That man said that. Yeah, they thought we was going to. Oh, God. Okay. You can't push a rope. Wait, you can't push a rope. Go to the one that listens. All right, I'm glad that you're on here, Angela. You got to stay connected. I'm on every platform. Follow me on I Am Constance Carter. ETFs are great. It's just fractional stock. But if you want, just go to Acorns and have them invest for you. One of the things that I do in my Acorns account is I have I 10x my Acorns. So what Acorns does is it invests your change. So say you buy something that's $10.50, it'll take that other 50 cents and it invested it for you. It puts it in the Acorns account and it'll invest it. So I 10x my Acorn. So instead of it doing 50 cents, it'll do $5. I also have a certain amount going in my Acorns every month. I also have money, and you could also do a custodial account. So I have money going into my son's accounts. Well, I only have one minor son now. So I have money going into their accounts, or just one account now, because what happens is when they turn 18, they convert the custodial accounts over to them, and now it's their Acorns account where they can start contributing. So Acorn, they actually, you can invest in long-term investments, like you invest in a Roth, an IRA, Roth IRA, and you could also invest in ETFs, but you could set it up and it does it for you. So it takes the guesswork out of it. That's why I love it. But stock, download Robinhood, get Robinhood and start investing in stock and invest in the things that you like. But I would say Google that shit, GTS it. My TED Talk's name, Google that shit, but Google it and see, or chat GPT and say, based upon this, how much money I got, what's the best stock that I should invest in? And I would start investing. So the barrier is just the knowledge. You don't have to, you could put $25 in Robinhood a month, $50 or $25 a week, and just have it just investing in whatever. You could do some cryptocurrency. You could, just diversify your portfolio, but whatever you do, make your money work for you. Okay. Somebody talking about a perfect cure for HIV. I'm not going to put that on there. All right, y'all. So I think investing in mutual funds and energy are great investments, especially now, especially with energy, right? Because of the deregulation. Morgan Stanley account is good. You could do the same thing. Robinhood is just easier for entry-level investors, but definitely invest. Okay. All right, y'all. So listen. Oh, tomorrow, gym masterclass. Every Tuesday, I do a free masterclass for everybody. This is free, but you got to register. Let me give you the website. Go. So make sure. I'm not going to be here live, but I do a gym masterclass tomorrow. I'm doing, should I incorporate or should I not? Okay. The reason why I'm doing this is because some of y'all that then set up your LLCs and your corporations, you ain't got no business. And then some of you actually need them. So we're going to talk about when to incorporate, why to incorporate, and how to incorporate tomorrow. Okay. So I know after 2022, they told y'all, the gurus on Instagram, on social media, they said, get your LLC and then do this and then do this and do this. And everybody went and got their LLCs. And y'all ain't doing nothing with your LLCs. Okay. So for those of you who don't have them, or some of you don't have them, and need them, and some of you have them and don't. So we're going to decide tomorrow, but we're going to talk about it. So tomorrow I do a free masterclass every single Tuesday, where I just try to give free game for an hour. Okay, so that's tomorrow. Go to register at gymmasterclass.com. Gymmasterclass.com is where you can register for this, and this is free. Okay. The other thing is I do what's called the Grow Your Money Club. And this is online training, self-paced training, where you can learn everything about how to write a book. You can learn how to invest in stock. You can learn Robinhood. You can get your credit repaired. You can learn how to incorporate. I have over 30, 35, 40 trainings in there, and it's self-paced. People have increased their credit score hundreds of points as a result of going through this training. Folks have started investing. I have the wealth map training to show you how to take your money, cut your money, invest it in other things. So all types of things. And also I do a credit party once a month as well. So I do the gym master classes every week, but I won't be doing it next week because this is my birthday month, and I'll be going out of town soon. And then I'll be doing the gym master classes twice a month, starting in March. But that's absolutely free for you. So if you want to come and hear all the things that we have, go to gymmasterclass.com. And of course, everything that I do is on my website. So if you want to go to constancecarter.com so that you can work with me somehow, whether it's my coaching, whether it's Net 7 Collective, because we are looking for new Black women. This is for Black women. If you are a Black woman or you know a Black woman, let them know about Net 7 Collective, because this is a community of Black women who are doing the damn thing, and I'm really proud of them. You can go on there and you can see more about what Net 7 Collective is and who it's for and how it works. Everything is online. So that's all I got. So I'll see. So the folks who are on the masterclass, I'll see you tomorrow at 12 Eastern, 9 Pacific. And then for everybody else, I'll see you on Thursday with Dr. Jones, where we always talk about your health. All right. Peace out. God bless.